My project was GSoC Community Hub 2024, and my mentors were Palanikannan and Singli. So, before we go ahead, what really is GSoC Community Hub? So, the main idea or the vision behind this project was that in any kind of open source community, let's say if someone wants to create a community and manage the people and show them what all activities are happening inside the community, we the person, even if he doesn't know how to code, he would be able to form a community and show them what all things the community is actually doing. So this framework actually makes it possible for any kind of person to make a community. So my this year in this year's term, the major goals that were set for me was to redefine the project structure, syntax sweetening, data definition and maintenance, and super profile. So first, starting with the project structure, earlier it was a turbo repo structure which involved a lot of complex things. But upon brainstorming and a lot of discussions with my mentors, we came up with a better approach, and we decided to go ahead with a very simple structure. It involves two main folders, build and source. The build folder is just a plain old Next.js app, and the source folder is where our framework lies majorly. And it uses our own custom syntax called file called .agml, and it stands for Anjaneya Gupta markups language. Thanks, Singli, for the suggestion. So I'll go ahead with syntax sweetening now. What is syntax sweetening, you may ask? So syntax sweetening is basically easing up the syntax so that the user doesn't have to write all the complex React code. The user can just write install Naba CMS, install event CMS. That's our own inbuilt component that we had worked on last year. And the user just can specify that take this component from this npm package, take the events component from the events package. And similarly, you can define the data sources for the respective package. And this is how the .agml file will look like. And the corresponding the .gs file will contain your JSON data. And with just one command, we will generate a React component out of this. So how does this happen, you may ask? So we use the infamous TypeScript compiler API for this. Our core structure relies on this API to build abstract syntax trees and extract the components and generate the corresponding React code. So the second main problem in this term was the data definition and maintenance problem. So this was solved using the payload CMS. It's a new generation Next.js headless CMS that recently came up. Actually, when my term was starting, they were still in their alpha version, and I had to do a lot of reverse engineering and talk to the community members in order to get it working, because there weren't any proper docs or anything available on the internet for this. So I had to straight and just dive into their code base. It's actually open source, so that's a huge plus point for us. So I was able to dive into their code base and just make it work for this term. And the good thing is that they are now in beta version, so it's much better now. So the reason why we need a CMS is because to handle the data that we feed into our components. So what the current workflow of the installation looks like is that whenever you install a component, our own custom post install Golang script runs, and the script handles all the manual labor that doesn't need to be done by the community builder. All the user has to do is just install the npm package, and the cms stuff will happen automatically through our post install script. And the good thing about payload cms is that it comes with a inbuilt admin dashboard as well, so we don't have to make anything, and the user can just have a very nice visualization of his data. And the next thing was super profile. So the super profile component is something that has been in discussion for the past 2 3 years, and we have come up with a number of solutions in the previous GSoC term, in the term before that as well. But in this term, we finally came to a conclusion that we don't need any OAuth provider for our solution. The reason being is that our site would be a statically served website, and it won't be able to handle the dynamic things that any OAuth provider needs. And it would require a separate proxy server if we need to implement it in our static website. And that completely defies the main objective of this project, is to build scalable static websites. So we scraped the OAuth provider use case, and we just went ahead with our custom own auth that just stores the username password safely and securely in the fauna db. And this was the problem I was talking about, that it would require a backend proxy server if we were to go ahead with an OAuth provider. And yeah, so uh, all of this was possible obviously because of my mentors and the open source community. As I mentioned earlier, that the payload was still in its alpha stage when I was starting out. So I had to interact with the core maintainers of the project, the payload CMS, back and forth every day, even before the GSoC term started. So this was something new to me because this wasn't available on the internet, and I had to actually dive deep into this project and figure out stuff. So yeah, it was a great learning experience for me. And now let's see how the project looks like. Okay, so here's the register page. I'll just quickly register myself. Okay, yeah, it works. I thought I was just like this was just another like Google demo. It's gonna happen, I thought. Anyway, so we have this home page right here that just I just logged myself into this page, and the fauna db super profile worked right now. So I'll start with the events component. So this is the GSoC demo day component that I have worked on. And as you might have seen, the page that is made by the Devanshu, that this is a complete replication of that. So, but this is using our own npm components, and this is the structure is new. So here's the session details. You can just see the description and all everything. This is the speakers page. Then we have the open source AI club, the new club that got inaugurated this in this term. So this is the page where the people can just join the club, click on the button, and it would ask that were conducted. And obviously later on we would get more apps workshops, hopefully. And the last but not the least, we have this project idea component where the user can see all the project ideas that were decided or accepted in this term, and he or she can just navigate between the years as well. So yeah, that's it for this term's GSoC Community Hub 2024.